Sick. Ah, dog fart. Oh no, no dog farts. Hey guys, it's B, and I'm here repping my Seattle Seahawks and to give you my August wrap up. Say hello, booktubes. Say it has been a very long time, booktubes. We have been reading a lot of books since I last saw you. And I don't know why I want to be in the video, but I do. I just wouldn't let mama do anything. For the month of August, I read 6 books, 2 single issue comics, and 3 graphic novels. So I'm gonna insert issues 5 and 6 here. I gave each 4 stars. This completes the first arc of this series. I'm not sure if I'll continue. There was quite a lull between issues 3 and 5. I definitely won't be doing single issues even if I do continue on. It wasn't worth the wait. It's a very interesting story. The illustrations are great and I'm kind of curious to see where it goes, but definitely will be waiting for volume 2 to check that one out. The next book that I finished was The Heavenly Table by Pollock, and I gave this one 5 stars. Absolutely loved it, you guys. It was such a pleasant surprise. Definitely check out a longer review on my blog, which is bookswithb.wordpress.com. I absolutely loved it. I love the world building. I love the character development. The plot was great. It took a little bit of the story for me to get into it, but once I did, it was absolutely fantastic and I didn't want it to end. I'm still thinking about it. It's rare that I actually want to see a book turned into a movie, but I would love to see the movie version of this. So good. It's about 2 families, both suffering from hard times in early 1900s Ohio, the different paths that they each take and how those come to intersect each other. But it's a very good story. I guess I'm a new fan of Southern Gothic. I actually want to delve further into that genre because I love this book so much. It's definitely my favorite read of the summer, if not of the year so far. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Next, I finished All of the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood, and I gave this one 3 stars. I wanted to love this book so much, you guys. Just, I don't know, something was missing. It's the story of a young girl. She is the daughter of drug addicted parents. She basically is raising her little brother and herself because her parents just like aren't up to par when it comes to parenting. Long story short, she meets one of her father's like thugs and they form a relationship, an inappropriate relationship. So there's a warning of that, trigger warnings for substance abuse, child abuse. But those weren't the things that kind of deterred me from it. I can deal with tough subject matter, like that's not the issue. But just the whole story is like going towards this one plot point, waiting for this event to happen. And then it just felt like after it does happen, the story just, it lost its luster, its gloss, its momentum. It just kind of like dragged until the ending and it just wasn't very satisfying. The first graphic novel that I finished last month was Low Volume 2. So glad to finally have gotten that one over with. Still as beautiful as the first. The story is that mankind has been driven to the depths of the sea because the earth is no longer inhabitable. Is that a word? So mankind has been driven to the depths of the sea and they're learning how to coexist with other life forms, things like that, etc., etc. But this one was a lot easier to read than the first volume, the flow of the dialogue in the comic, and it was still just as beautiful. I recommend it. I know I'm hard to please a little bit, like I need beauty and plot and good story and good character, like I need it all. Just gorgeous pictures aren't enough to like sell me on a graphic novel, but the story concept is cool. Still a little bit curious to see where volume 3 goes. So gorgeous, give it 4 stars. All right, you guys, I know you have been seeing it absolutely everywhere. This book, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, Oprah's book club pick. I was iffy going in. I haven't had the greatest experience with Oprah's book club picks, but I still wanted to give it a chance. Kind of burned down on slave narratives, but I still wanted to give it a chance. All these things, I went against my intuition, and sure enough, I was kind of disappointed with this one. It's the story of Cora who is a runaway slave, and it's her journey trying to get to freedom on the Underground Railroad. Which, one of the things that I liked about the book is that Colson Whitehead actually portrayed the Underground Railroad as an actual physical railroad. So I thought that that was neat. Where that was a cool plot point, it kind of lacked because there wasn't too much mention of the actual Underground Railroad. I wanted more detail, like more substance and actual points around the actual railroad, as well as her journey and like her struggles too. But just if you're gonna make a metaphor into an actual thing, like take it to damn near a steampunk level, you know what I mean? Almost a magical realism, something like that. That would have been okay to me than just it being a background afterthought. So I don't know. Also, the writing was very clunky, jerky, stop and go. It didn't always just flow, where it was super easy to understand what was going on, what was happening with characters. I remember asking myself, like, in the middle of reading this, oh, it's kind of supposed to be like a train. Maybe that's why he's doing it, because, you know, like, trains, like... I'm like, no, fool. Trains, there's, like, a bit of a startup, but once they get going, it's smooth sailing until you get to your destination, so I couldn't even relate it to that. So, clunky writing. I thought that the story would have been easier to relate to, and there would have been a better connection with Cora if it had all been told in her voice in first person, because all of the characters, nothing was exciting. It was just like, okay, well, what's next? Oh, okay, that's horrible, but what's next? It wasn't like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? Oh, my heart is aching for so-and-so. So yeah, and so when things kind of happened, it was just like, all right, and I gave it 3 stars. The thing that I did really like, this is random little knowledge about B, but the little blurb that Colson did at the end in his acknowledgement, just his whole getting into the vibe of writing and the music he listens to, that gives him inspiration, stuff like that, that earned this an extra star for me, because we have some musical taste in common. So I don't know, it wasn't horrible. I might read something else by him if recommended, but happy that he's getting all the support and word of mouth that he is. Just didn't do it for me. Next I finished Here Comes the Sun by Nicole, Dennis-Benn, and oh my god, you guys, dude, fully loved this one. This one was so good, like 4.5, one of my favorite reads this summer. And after a bunch of duds and disappointments, this was so refreshing. It was so good. I read this one along with Freeform Lady. There are a few plot points in the end that I wish were tied up a little bit better, but it's such a good story, you guys. It took me back to like my love of all things Jamaica and reggae, things like that, and personal experience that I had with the vacation that I took years ago. It's the story of 3 women, a mother and her 2 daughters, their relationships together, the different paths that they've taken in their lives, and the consequences. Just, I don't know, it's crazy. It's just a domino effect from like the mother to the older sister to the younger daughter. Not a super happy read, if that's what you're looking for. I know it looks like, oh, here comes the sun, man, yeah, man, but no, man, a lot of tingle going on in this one. So good. And so pretty, that cover. Next book I finished was also a buddy read with Matt's over at Matt's Books and Bites, and it was Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Wanted to love this one. I was prepared for, even though it's small, for a very heavy read. Indeed, it was heavy, but I didn't end up enjoying it that much. Sorry, it's all ghetto fab. Like, I ran out of book flags, so I had to like mark with Post-its. There were so many different phrases and points of reference that are truly amazing. But if you can see where I started to go nuts, well over halfway, this is probably like 60% in, it finally picked up for me. But once it did, it was just, oh my god, this, that. The synopsis says that it's him writing a letter to his son about his growing up and race relations in America. It's more like an essay. I felt like I was reading a textbook for school, like it was required reading. It wasn't enjoyable. And when I say enjoyable, I know that it's a tough topic and it's hard to just digest and comprehend the injustices that are going on. I was expecting a more personal connection to him writing to his son. Like I said, it just seemed like it was a textbook, and I was expecting a different feel. Other than repeating history and citing what's currently going on, I didn't really see him offering a suggestion or ideas or solutions or any way to circumvent the atrocities that are happening and that are growing in the treatment of people of color in our country. So I gave it 3 stars. The next graphic novel that I finished was Sex Criminals Volume 1. And I have had this well over a year, finally finished it, and I enjoyed it so much more than I thought I was going to, you guys. Like, I cannot wait to get to Volume 2. 2 people that grow up separately. When they have sex and have an orgasm, time freezes. And so they grow up thinking that they're freaks, the only people that exist like this. Lo and behold, later in life, they run into each other, and this is how they meet, and the things that transpire soon after their mutation. It's really good. I don't want to say too much. And there's a lot of cool 80s references. So if you grew up like loving 80s music and in the 80s and stuff like that, in the 90s a little bit, you guys are totally gonna dig this. I liked it a lot. I gave it 5 stars. Another book that I have had forever, A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir of Lady Trent. This is number 1 in the series, and it's by Brennan. I gave this one 3 stars. It wasn't horrible, but I need more dragon. I need more dragon, and I need more dragon now. It was good, it was alright. There were a couple of plot points that were pretty predictable to me. It takes place during Victorian times. It's the story of Lady Trent, who is an upper class young girl. It's her coming of age, her love of dragons, her wanting to study dragons, and of course during Victorian times, we all know women, you stay home, you arrange flowers, you invite people over for dinner and have tea. So just her challenges and trying to pursue her love and study for dragons. Like I said, her coming of age, things like that. There's just a lot of setup in this book. Not that much action, except towards the end. I just need more dragons, and I need more dragons now, please. Right now. The next graphic novel I finished was, ooh, Purdy. It's Pretty Deadly, Volume 1. And oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. How can I give this too short and sweet? There's a man that is in love with a woman. I think it's his wife. She's very beautiful. He basically mistreats her. He puts her away in a tower to kind of have her all by himself. She basically prays and prays and prays to God to kill her and to take her life. Lo and behold, death comes along, falls in love with her beauty. Things happen. Then there's a baby. It's the story of the daughter that was spawned by this woman and death, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. Dun, dun, dun. As far as both books and the book decathlon, you guys can check out my blog for updates of that, and that is bookswithb.wordpress.com. Okay, so that's it for the month of August. How did you guys do? What did you love? What did you hate? Did you read any of the ones that I read? Anybody else super disappointed by all the new releases this summer, or is it just me? Go ahead and let me know below. Like, I'd love to get a conversation going about it. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos when I put them out, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.